I think the events that really led to my journey would be the birth of my daughter. Shortly after she was born, we found out she had hydrocephalus. And once we went in there, they just kept finding more and more and more. She's 9 years old and she's had 24 surgeries since then. And at the same time, I knew my marriage was on the rocks, and so we ended up going through a divorce. I took custody of my daughter, and so a lot of times I felt like I was doing everything by myself. I've been in law enforcement in one form or another since 1988. I was an MP in the Army, and I started my civilian law enforcement career in 1993. None of my training prepared me for this. My daughter's in a wheelchair. She's had, I can literally say from head to toe, starting out with the hydrocephalus, diagnosed with cerebral palsy, dystonia, lung issues. Her feet have turned in, so she has to have braces, and I didn't know who to go to. I mean, you have, family and friends that you'll talk to, but you don't, at first, I guess, feel like anybody knows what you're going through. I called the one friend that I knew I had, and he was there, faster than I could realize it. It's at that point, too, I realized I didn't really have any other resources. I had the one friend. At least I felt that I did. And so that's where my journey started. You want to say, God, why is this happening to me? But I would go further than that and saying, you must be putting me in a position because this is where you want me. I actually felt after some time of thinking, that maybe I went to Iraq because he knew he was going to give me something even harder to deal with than war. And to me it was. My time in Iraq helped me to see things in a different manner, as far as I've seen how bad can be, and this ain't it. There's always somebody worse off than yourself. And in dealing with my daughter, I would see parents who had children that were a lot worse. My daughter can't speak, but she can express herself, constantly smiling and laughing. And to me, she has every reason to be the just mad, sad child and woe is me, but she doesn't. People would always come to me, you're such a good daddy, and I know you must be going through a lot of trouble. And I'm like, no. I said, I'm just sitting here holding her hand. She's the one going through everything. I'm being here for her. Where I would give all of myself to her, I didn't realize that I wasn't leaving enough of me for me. Some of her surgeries, a lot of them were revisions of previous surgeries. And this was one of her neck fusions that it didn't work. So when they told me they were going to have to go in again, and said that she was probably going to lose lateral movement of her neck, and just things just kept piling up on her. And as daddy, I had no way to do it. And I actually broke down right in the neurosurgeon's office right then and there. Okay, I'm still going through it. There's times I have fall back a little bit, but I don't fall back as far as I used to. I'm able to get the brakes on and go back up. And I tell people sometimes if I feel bad, I'll just go make my daughter laugh, and then it's gone. It goes away. But you have to keep fighting. One of the things in law enforcement we always talk about, and it's usually like in defensive tactics, is you have a toolbox. You have to know which tool you need at the time and use that to its best, fruition. But the more I thought about it is after the fight, you need to have a first aid kit too. And it needs to be filled with all the appropriate first aid items. You can't just go through something and just let it sit there on the shelf for weeks or months or years like a lot of officers do. You've got to deal with things. Find something, whether it's talking to a friend, whether it's going to counseling, which I did. I started going to counseling and met some really great people that I felt very at ease talking to, and that's important, finding the right counselor. but just don't stop. Keep going. Move forward. I think preparing a new officer to come into this field should start at the academy level. They need to know all the laws and the rules and regulations, but they also need to understand their feelings. Some of the things that they're going to see, they're going to feel, the way it may make them feel. People need to get in touch with themselves. No matter what you say, there's still going to be that new rookie that can, save the world and do no wrong, and they're just going to get everything done. But the more that a veteran officer will explain to them, hey, after what we did today, how are you feeling? What did that make you feel like? Come and talk to me. You don't have to be the stern disciplinarian that if you don't get this right, then you're out of here. There's a time for that, but there's also a time to talk to them as a person. Hey, take the badge off for a second. If you're feeling bad, come talk to me. Or find somebody to talk to. Who do you trust?